Moving on, smooth over to topic two. Let's talk some Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, unfortunately, she's not here, so she can't make her opinion known. But recently, I rewatched the Infinity Saga with One Lady in Wonderland. And this is something I've been trying to do for a while. Just kind of like, hey, I'm into this thing. Do you want to check it out? I think you'd enjoy it. Also, I like talking about it a lot. Give it a try, see if you enjoy it. And to her credit, it's a lot of movies. 21 movies in total. That's a lot of information to kind of take in and a big journey to undertake in terms of time and whatnot. And at first, she wasn't super stoked about it, didn't want to go for it, but she did give it a try, dipped her toe in it, and then we kind of went whoosh, full dive into it and had some fun with it. So, maybe about a year ago, we first watched Guardians of the Galaxy because I thought these characters on their own, this could be something to try out. She enjoyed it, but it wasn't the one that got all the way invested into it again. So, in brief explanation, I was explaining the characters and like how they start and whatnot and their stories, and we decided upon Captain America. She liked the World War II setting. She's like, okay, let's try that one. We'll see how it goes. Tried out Captain America First Avenger. She really enjoyed it. We decided to go to Winter Soldier. She loved that. She still got the surprise of Bucky being the Winter Soldier, which I absolutely loved and got very rewarded for, because if you guys have been along the podcast journey or this YouTube journey and content altogether, you know I've talked a lot about Marvel and I've gone into spoilers and everything in between, and she's pretty much been right there the whole time. And to still have a level of surprise and genuine reaction to things, even though hearing these things being talked about was just rewarding. Obviously, it wasn't something she was into at the time, so why would she pay attention? But that was nice. So we watched Winter Soldier. She loved that one, and then we moved on to Civil War. So we were just doing the Captain America trilogy because she liked Captain America and his story. And that's where we hit the little speed bump in the road, because if you don't know, Civil War has a lot of characters into it. You have Iron Man, you got Vision, you got War Machine, you got Scarlet Witch, the list goes on. So, trying to be helpful whenever we needed to, we would stop, answer any questions, and we're doing that with the other two movies as well. And by the end of it, she's like, all right, I think I want to give it a try. She enjoyed what we had seen there, enjoyed the characters that we had ran into, and was enjoying the movies for what they were. So we decided to do our rewatch. And there was a few we skipped here and there. We skipped The Incredible Hulk just because of the recasting with Edward Norton to Mark Ruffalo. We skipped the first Thor. We skipped both Ant-Mans, and we skipped Captain Marvel. I think those are the only ones we skipped. But from that point of going back to Iron Man 1, we watched them in release order. We didn't do chronologically. I know some people like to do that now, which is fine. Watch it the way you want to watch it. My only hookup, or hang up rather, there is if you're going to watch it in chronological order, when you get to Black Widow, you get a big problem there because it spoils Endgame and then goes into post-Civil War stuff. So that's a little bit of a hiccup. But I get it. If you're only doing Infinity Saga, it works. As long as you don't care about after credits and stuff like that, it can work. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about, just some thoughts I had in rewatching it, because this is the first time I think I've actually gone through start to finish in quite some time and just watched them all. I had gone and watched, select ones here and there that I really enjoyed. Yeah, I know we've talked about it with the newer movies, how it's like missing something, or we're quote unquote angry. And granted, this could be, I thought it was rose-colored glasses, but going back and watching these, they're very good. They're really good in the stories that they are telling from a individual standpoint. And then I think it's a big thing is the Infinity Stones, that connective tissue. Right now with Phase 4 and Phase 5, there doesn't feel like a lot of connective tissue. Obviously, we're getting glimpses of it with Kang here and there, and we're starting to roll that ball, but it feels like a much slower build in comparison to Infinity Saga. Now, I know you could be yelling at your TV, computer, headphones right now. Bro, there was years before in between these movies. That's true. That is true. At least with the 6 Infinity Stones, we got opportunities to know, okay, this was an Infinity Stone. Here's this one. Here's the story of this one. Here's what's happening to this one in the meantime. While Kang doesn't have that luxury of the stones, obviously we do have his different forms, which we are doing. I just don't know if we're doing it. It doesn't seem as frequent as the stones were, right? We got the Tesseract, Space Stone, in Captain... Well, we saw it, I believe, in Thor. I think so. See it in Thor. We see it in Captain America. Obviously, it's a big factor in Avengers 1. Then we go to Iron Man 3. We go to Thor 2, where we get the Ether or the Reality Stone. Then you get Captain 2, where you get the Mind Stone in play with the twins. Granted, that's the very end with Loki's Scepter. You get the Power Stone with Guardians, and then you get the Time Stone with Doctor Strange. Obviously, you don't see the Soul Stone until Infinity War. But it felt like they were more present and prevalent throughout. And then you get the little teases of Thanos. Like, Thanos at the end of Avengers 1. You get the scene of him, like, taking the glove and the gauntlet, being like, okay, I'll do it myself. And obviously Ronan's working for him. It's quick glimpses here and there. But it felt like it was more spread out and prevalent in that saga of movies. As we go into the next ones with Kang... Where have we seen him right now? We got the big reveal of him in Loki, and we see him there, or at least one version of him there, right? Then we have him in I'm trying to do too many words at once. Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. He's a big bad there. We see a version of him here, and then spoiler alert, at the end, you get to see a fuck ton of them all just riling together from different time eras, different looks, and we get that along with a tease for Loki Season 2, where they're trying to discover, I believe, the first Kang that kind of figured out how to talk between dimensions. So we've only had those few moments of build. Shang-Chi was all its own story, but something's going on in space, I believe, at the end of it, and there's some beacon that's triggered to either him or the rings. I don't recall. It's been a while. Eternals is kind of its own thing. They're also going to space at the end of that movie because they're captured by the big giant flying dude. Doctor Strange was all in its own thing, and then Clea shows up. Maybe that could be something, but we don't know at this moment. Thor is chilling with his daughter, or his adopted daughter, and they're just beating shit up with the hammers. Spider-Man was just Spider-Man for fun's sake, and we leave off with no one knowing who Spider-Man is. So that, like, it's in his own realm. That doesn't tie into anything. Am I missing any? Probably. Guardians 3, they're all broken up and on their own path. I probably should have said spoiler for that because that's the most recent. My apologies. Problems afoot, but they're A-okay. So the connective tissue... kind of lacking, I feel, especially being in like halfway through phase 5 right now. We kind of have to put our foot down, put pedal to the metal to get to the end of phase 6. Like, there's not a lot or as much in between where we're at and where we need to go for the big movies as people think. Obviously the shows on Disney Plus are gonna revolve into it, and obviously the movies they have left are going to play an effect, but it's just like, oof, because a lot of them, or some of them rather, are new characters, which is fine. That's how phase 2 and 3 kind of went for Infinity War, but like, oof, oh, I missed Wakanda Forever. That's another contained story. No tie-ins. So I don't know, it's a little concerning. Obviously the writer's strike going on, good for them, do what you need to do. That's going to delay some stuff, but I don't know if that's enough. That's enough of a factor to kind of... I don't know how that will affect things. So yeah, right now there's some concern of just like how this will pay off in the long run there. We'll have to see. But yeah, in this rewatch, sorry, kind of jumping around here. Really enjoyed the Iron Mans again. Enjoyed Iron Man 3 way more than I did the first time. I'd say the same with the Thor movies. Heavily enjoyed Ragnarok more than I enjoyed that the first time. Still think 4 went way too far with the comedy, but 3 was a good time. Yeah, I had a great time rewatching it, kind of taking this walk down memory lane and just really appreciating what came before. I know, everybody shits on like the Iron Man 2s, the Thor 2s. I've never had a problem with them. I can see definitely why they're not certainly high points across the saga in its entirety, but love those even more rewatching them here. And seeing a little bit more of the connective tissue throughout, realizing like some characters didn't really get all that much build as much as I thought they did, like Vision being there at the end of Avengers 2, and then he's there for Civil War. That's it. And then Infinity Saga happens, or rather Infinity War happens. It's like, oh, you weren't around all that long. Why did I feel you were around longer? And we kind of established this relationship with Scarlet Witch more. Yeah, oof. You were kind of there for a quick little trip around the park, and then you were done. Yeah, it was a good time. A little short second topic here, I guess, of that trip down memory lane. But I know she enjoyed it. I'm really glad she enjoyed it, and I'm happy to have shared that experience with her. We still need to watch Far From Home, which I think is probably my favorite Spider-Man movie. I know the third one has a lot of fanfare and fan service, but 2's definitely really good. So we still have to watch that. We'll see. We've talked about possibly going back and watching the Ant-Mans and Captain Marvel, and then honestly, we'll have to see. I'm not super adamant about like continuing into Phase 4 just because of my trepidation. I think just this was a big ask. I think this is a win. If she wants to continue and go into the other ones, there are some good spots, but if we're just going to keep it Iron Man 1 to an Endgame / Far From Home, because that's after, and keep that, I'd be fine with it. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and it was a nice experience to share. But guys, this has been another episode of The Wait Where We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma 9011. Appreciate you guys hanging out today with us for these 2 topics. But if you guys enjoyed your time here and you want to catch the podcast live, you can always go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011. Drop a follow over there. You'll get notified when we go live with the podcast or the streams. You can join us over there, join on the fun and the conversation like Rainbow did today. But if you can't catch live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services that very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, any way you can support the show: reviews, likes, shares, comments, all that fun stuff. It may seem small, but does help the channel grow. So if you have the time to do that, we would love and appreciate you for it. Yeah, once again, sorry this episode's coming out late. Hopefully, better late than never. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for giving this a watch, giving it a listen, and we will see you guys on the next one. Take care.